Good evening and welcome to Express News. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Let's begin with the stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Jordan's Amman on a two-day visit. Jordan's Prime Minister Jafar Hassan received the Prime Minister. During the visit, Prime Minister will hold talks with King Abdullah II to review full spectrum of bilateral ties and exchange views on key regional and global development. The Prime Minister received a traditional welcome by the Indian community at the hotel in Jordan. President Draupadi Murmu accepted credentials from envoys of Iran, Brunei Darussalam and Micronesia at a ceremony held at Rashtrapati Bhavan today. President Draupadi Murmu administered oath of office and secrecy to former IAS officer Rajkumar Goyal as the Chief Information Commissioner at a ceremony held at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. Commander of the UAE Presidential Guard, Major General Ali Saif Ali Kabi, has arrived in India. Upon his arrival, the Major General was accorded Ceremonial Guard of Honor at South Block, Lawrence. Major General Ali Saif Al Kabi heads the elite UAE Presidential Guard unit. The unit is responsible for protecting the UAE President and safeguarding key national interests. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will co-chair the 16th Joint Commission and 5th Strategic Dialogue with Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the UAE, Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, in Abu Dhabi. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal addressed a press conference on development of the energy sector, highlighting India's transition to clean energy, self-reliance and production and rationalization of coal linkages. Union Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu said DGCA's tariff monitoring unit will be strengthened to closely track airfares, including on international routes. Replying in Rajya Sabha, Aviation Minister said government caps fares when needed, citing action taken during the recent Indigo disruption, and urged passengers to report high fares via the Air Seva portal. In the Lower House or Lok Sabha, Parliament Affairs Minister and State Arjun Ram Meghwal introduced the Repealing and Amendment Bill 2025. Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan introduced the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhistan Bill 2025. The Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India Bill 2025 was also introduced in the Lower House. Nitin Nabeen, BJP leader, took charge as the National Working President of the party in New Delhi in the presence of Home Minister Amit Shah, Union Ministers JP Nadda, Dharmendra Pradhan and Piyush Goyal, among others. Upon arrival at the BJP headquarters, Nabeen got a rousing welcome with enthusiastic party workers lining up at the entrance to catch a glimpse of the newly elected National Working President. India's Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav today chaired a high-level meeting to undertake a detailed review of the action plans of Ghaziabad and Noida aimed at tackling air pollution in the two cities. Minister stressed active involvement of public representatives and citizens in ground-level implementation of action plans and greening activities so that pollution control becomes a true Jan Bhagidari movement. Nation observed 75th death anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, fondly remembered as the Iron Man of India for his unmatched role in unifying the country. Prime Minister Modi paid his respectful salutations to the Iron Man on the 75th death anniversary. He said the nation is grateful for his unparalleled contribution to the creation of an undivided and strong Bharatvarsh. Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang today officially declared Chola and Dokla, two strategically significant border destinations, open for tourists under Bharat Ranbhoomi Darshan initiative. Union Minister for Communications Jyotiraditya Scindia lauded the Centre for Development of Telematics for winning the IEEE Standards Association Corporate Award 2025. The award recognizes CDOT's pioneering contributions to advancing IEEE standards in wireless, broadband, rural 5G, telecom, education, and in building globally recognized standards based on innovation frameworks from India. Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited handed over a dividend cheque of Rs 109 crore to the government in presence of Union Minister for Heavy Industries and Steel, H.T. Kumaraswamy. Indian equity indices ended on a negative note in a volatile trade on Monday. At close, the Sensex dipped 54 points to settle at 85,230. Nifty slipped to 20 points to settle at 26,027. Gold futures maturing on 5th of February next year were priced at 1,35,383 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for March 5th next year maturity stood at 1,98,797 rupees per kilogram on the MCX. Indian rupee slumped 25 paise to close at all-time low of 90.74 against the US dollar. Oil prices held steady on Monday, supported by concerns over Venezuelan supply disruptions. Brent crude futures were down 0.26% to $60.69 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate was 0.3% at $57 a barrel. The wholesale price inflation stayed in the negative for the second consecutive month in November at minus 0.32%. Wholesale price index base inflation was minus 1.21% in October and 2.16% in November last year. Ukrainian President Zelensky again met US envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner after 5 hours of talks on Sunday with other European leaders, also holding meetings in German capital. Ukrainian President Zelensky met Finnish President Alexander Stubb in Berlin on Monday. Stubb, who has been closely involved in talks, struck a cautiously optimistic tone on Sunday. The Kremlin said on Monday Ukraine not joining the US-led NATO alliance was a fundamental question in talks on a possible peace settlement. It was a subject of special discussion. Moscow has also said Ukraine must be a neutral country. No NATO troops can be stationed in Ukraine. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said on Monday that taking over the Donbas region will not be Putin's endgame. Foreign ministers of European Union's member states adopted sanctions targeting the enablers of Russian shadow fleet of oil tankers on Monday. The sanctions target 9 businessmen linked to Russian oil companies Rosneft and Lukoil, shipping companies which own and manage tankers, as well as 14 persons and entities under the bloc's hybrid threat sanctions framework. Lithuanian Foreign Minister urged the EU to broaden sanctions against Belarus in response to the ongoing hybrid threats, including recent disruptions to air traffic. New Czech Prime Minister Andrej Babiš's government took power on Monday following an October election victory in a shift likely to weaken the country's support for Ukraine and bolster European Union's populist right-wing flank. Hong Kong's High Court on Monday found tycoon Jimmy Lai guilty on 2 charges. Lai pleaded not guilty on 2 charges of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces and a charge of conspiracy to publish seditious material. Thailand's military on Monday restricted the movement of all fuel supplies through the Chong Mek border crossing into Laos after receiving intelligence that these were being routed to Cambodian troops. Syria has arrested 5 people suspected of having links with shooting of US and Syrian troops in central Syrian town of Palmyra on Saturday, the Interior Ministry said. The US President Trump vowed that those responsible for the Syria attack would face consequences. Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara conveyed his condolences to US President Trump after deadly attack on American forces in central Syria. Thousands of Brazilians protested on Sunday in major cities against a legislative effort to lower the jail sentence of former President Jair Bolsonaro and his supporters. Jose Antonio Castro won the Chile's presidential election, leveraging voter fears over rising crime and migration to steer the country. Chile's outgoing president, Gabriel Boric, congratulated the right-wing candidate, Jose Antonio Cast, after he won the presidential elections. In Bangladesh, students of Dhaka University marked Martyred Intellectuals Day on Monday with symbolic protests condemning collaborators of Pakistan's forces responsible for killing of intellectual during 1971 Liberation War. The process to elect new leadership of Nepal's Communist Party of Nepal Unified Marxist-Leninist or CPN-UML is underway at the party's 11th National Congress in Kathmandu. Venezuela's regional allies voiced support for the government in a summit on Sunday, condemning the Trump administration's seizure of an oil tanker last week. We're heading for a short break. There's more coming up.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Let's resume. The death toll from floods triggered by overflow of a river in Bolivia's eastern region of Santa Cruz rose to 7, with at least 20 people reported missing, hundreds of families left without shelter. Bolivia's President Rodrigo Paz criticized past administrations for leaving state without sufficient resources to respond to emergencies. At least 37 people were killed in flash floods triggered by torrential rains in Morocco's Atlantic coastal province of Safi, 330 kilometers south of the capital, Rabat. Following floods in Morocco, officials have urged public to remain vigilant as unstable weather is expected to persist in several regions. Death toll from the floods and landslides that struck 3 provinces on Indonesia's Sumatra island has exceeded 1,000, with 218 people still missing, according to National Disaster Management Agency. The president vowed to deploy all state resources to rebuild damaged areas in Indonesia after officials ensured that food supplies are sufficient and adequate evacuation sites are provided. New York City got its first substantial snowfall of the season, which turned Central Park into a magical land just in time for the holiday season. The National Weather Service observed that the city of New York has not seen this much snow this early in the season since 2018. Several mountainous regions of Morocco recorded heavy snowfall over the past 24 hours, with the largest accumulations reported in high Atlas and Eastern Atlas ranges, according to Morocco's National Met Service. The snow in Morocco has not only transformed the natural landscape but also given the villages and surrounding areas a white, picturesque appearance. Over 5,000 grey cranes have settled in the winter fields of Temegua in China, adding a vibrant touch of life to the desert's outskirts. In Jinshan district of Shanghai, approximately 4,000 hectares of recently harvested farmland have been welcoming large flocks of grey cranes. Hundreds of sausage dogs in fancy dress gathered in Hyde Park, London for a Christmas walk. Dog owner Anna Rodriguez has been organizing get-together events for sausage dogs in London for 8 years, estimating that the event has been her biggest event yet, with around 1,000 Dachshunds joining the walk. Every December in Munich Christmas market, costumed figures known as Krampus and related alpine spirits stormed, roared and clattered through the city centre, returning what might seem like a cozy holiday scene into a thrilling spectacle. The demonic characters from Central Alpine folklore linked to punishing misbehaving children with birch rods marched through the streets of Munich during an annual Christmas parade. The Palace of Versailles in France hosted annual Christmas celebrations and special events featuring lavish decorations, classical music concerts, and unique evening show tours. For one evening, musicians, dancers, and actors in faded costume transport visitors to the court of King Louis XIV to experience Christmas beneath the gilded ceiling of the Palace of Versailles. More than 3,000 people transformed the streets of Mexico City into a festive spectacle as they participated in the 7th annual Santa Run, creating a sea of red and white that captured the spirit of the holiday season. Thousands of families and friends dressed in traditional Santa Claus attire departed from La Mexicana Park for the signature 10 kilometers race. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier attended a public lighting at Berlin's Brandenburg Gate for the first night of Hanukkah. The Hanukkah ceremony is a powerful symbol of Jewish faith's vibrant message in Germany and the triumph of light over darkness. Thousands of festive runners dressed in red Santa costumes flooded the streets of Kosovo's capital for the 10th annual Pristina Santa Run, blending holiday cheer with charitable cause. After the race in Kosovo, runners including NATO peacekeeping troops received medals and celebrated at a Christmas market featuring concerts and dancing. The lights on Yerevan's main Christmas tree are lit as the festive season begins in Armenia. Crowds gathered to watch a firework and drone display in Republic Square in Armenia. Zootopia 2 is officially the highest-grossing Hollywood release of the year. Disney's animal-packed animated sequel has earned a staggering $1.13 billion globally after 20 days of release. Aditya Dhar's Ranveer Singh starrer Dhurandhar has outperformed itself in its second weekend, earning 143.5 crore rupees, taking its global box office collection to 530 crore rupees. Indian comedian Kapil Sharma once again engaged his audience with his latest film, Kis Kis Ko Pyar Karo Second. The comedy drama has been trying to maintain a pace amid tough competition from Ranveer Singh's Dhurandhar. The Kerala story fame Sudipto Sen is all set to mark his first film as a producer with the upcoming film Charak Fair of Faith. Popular Bollywood singer Sonu Nigam performed in Guwahati as part of his much-anticipated concert tour, Deewana Tera. He opened his performance with a soulful tribute to Assam's musical icon, Zubin Garg. Nandamuri Balakrishnan's much-awaited film Akhanda 2 arrived amid high expectations from fans. However, the movie has seemingly failed to impress the audiences. Tamil Nadu celebrated superstar Rajnikant's birthday by bringing his iconic 1999 film Padayappa back to theatres in a remastered 4K version. Amazon Prime Video has unveiled the highly anticipated trailer of the finale season of 4 More Shots, Please. Intense romantic drama Tere Ishq Mein concluded its third weekend with earning of over 113 crore rupees. In sports, Prime Minister Modi congratulated the Indian squash team on clinching their maiden World Cup title, stating that the success has made the entire nation proud. India created history as they defeated Hong Kong, China in the final to win the Squash World Cup in Chennai. The win marked India's maiden Squash World Cup, improving on their previous best finish of a bronze medal at the 2023 edition. The Indian team did not lose a single match en route to the summit clash. India's squash star Joshna Chinnappa expressed her immense joy after claiming her first ever World Cup title in Squash World Cup. Argentina football great Messi arrived at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi on Monday to conclude his tour of India. Messi took a lap of the ground and waved to the fans. The trio of Messi, Luis Suarez and Rodrigo de Paul participated in several events and dribbled the ball with kids at the venue. India defeated South Africa in the third T20 by 7 wickets in Dharamshala on Sunday to go 2-1 up in the 5-match leg. After electing to field, India was ruthless with the ball, bundling South Africa out for 117. In reply, India chased the total in just 15.5 overs. India secured an emphatic 90-run win over Pakistan in their Group A match of the Under-19 Asia Cup in Dubai. England on Monday has announced its playing 11 for the third Ashes Test against Australia, with seamer Josh Tongue replacing Gus Atkinson. Following the clinical win in the second Test against West Indies in Wellington, New Zealand, the team has recalled spinner Ejaz Patel for the third and final Test, which is set to commence on December 18th in Mount Maunganui. Manchester City closed the gap on Premier League table leaders Arsenal 2 points with a commanding 3-0 win over Crystal Palace. Harry Kane's 87th-minute penalty helped Bayern Munich secure a 2-2 home draw against Mainz in Bundesliga. Borussia Dortmund also settled for 1-1 draw against Freiburg in Bundesliga on Sunday and missed a chance to take over the second spot. And in Spanish La Liga, Real Madrid secured a crucial 2-1 victory over Deportivo Alaves on Sunday, ending a dismal run of form and keeping them within 4 points of leaders Barcelona. With that, we conclude this edition of Express News. Namaskar.